Welcome, world, to Life, Love, and Wellness Global, a worldwide wellness movement. I am Reverend Sandy Rogers, and as the creator of this historic event, it is my pleasure to welcome you. We come together to bring you this historic event. We have practitioners, holistic practitioners. We have medical doctors. We have spiritual individuals. This event is so lovingly dedicated to my mother, Mrs. Barbara Dean Brown. And my mother taught me like 40 plus years ago about the importance and the meaning behind herbs. And she would always say, we don't know what they putting in those pills, so you better not, get hooked on prescription drugs. And so we listened to Mom, but not all of us paid attention. My sister, bless her heart, was diagnosed recently thereafter with asthma, and she was prescribed prednisone, which is a very powerful steroid. And my sister actually got hooked on steroids, like someone out on the street kind of hooked, like on heroin or crack or something like that. And so my mom and my sister are both on the other side, living in the other dimension, but they're upholding me, and this is dedicated to their memory. So we don't want to come and make you change your mind about what you're doing. We just want to provide information to you, something different, so that you have options to choose from, so that you're not stuck. Because the environment that we now live in, the fast foods, the toxins in the air that we breathe and in the water that we drink, and the processed foods, and all of that is causing havoc on this precious body temple. So God created our bodies to heal themselves, but they can only heal themselves when they're fed and they're nourished and they're stress-free. And so the 60 or so or more experts that we have are bringing you this worldwide wellness movement in an attempt to share their testimonies and their information with you. So we have from age 14 on up. I don't even know what the oldest age is. I think 88 or something. So you see, that's a wide range of knowledge that we're bringing you. And so we hope that you come and that you get all the knowledge that you need to affect a positive change on your life, and share this with others. It's free, it's online, and so we're just so thankful that you decided to be a part of our listening community, the viewing community, and we certainly appreciate you for giving us your time of day and your energy and your efforts to being with us and to being a part of this historic event. We have pulled together people of color for you, by you, right? So we want to make sure that you understand that we too, melanated people with color, can enjoy, practice, and participate in some of these modalities that others have been doing for centuries, and that is pretty new to our community. So we talk about Qigong, we talk about meditation, yoga, spiritual work from a different perspective than religion. So we talk about the spirituality aspect. We talk about abuse in the families. We talk about all kinds of subjects because we know that in our communities there are layers and layers and layers and layers of stuff that we never talk about that's causing a negative effect on our bodies and its healing process. So we address it, whatever it is, and we hope that you will benefit from the many experts that we have, and that you walk away with lots of knowledge and lots of new information, and that you become fully empowered to share information with others. So thank you for being with us. We love you and we bless you, and we look forward to doing this again. But thanks for being here with the first one. We appreciate you.
Life, love, and wellness. Life, love, and wellness.
welcome to the program, Kym.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you're invited.
Yes. Would you tell us who you are in your own words, please?
Oh, I'm Kym Kennedy. I'm a spiritual life coach, as well as a mom, as well as a teacher, and I have been doing radical forgiveness work as a certified radical forgiveness coach since 2007. So it's been a while, and I am still very enthralled with the work.
Yes, thank you. When I was first introduced to that concept, radical forgiveness, and I thought I knew all about forgiveness and what it was. And I actually had even written a book, with all the male relationships in my life because I thought I had gone through that forgiveness and the levels of forgiveness. But it wasn't until I sat down in your classroom that I truly learned a whole different perspective. So can you tell us what radical forgiveness is?
Well, we have to contrast radical forgiveness with traditional forgiveness. So traditional forgiveness is somebody done you wrong, and you want to forgive them because you're spiritual now, but you still believe they did you wrong. And, so you're going to let water run under the bridge, but you knew they did you wrong. And you're going to, let bygones be bygones, but you knew they did you wrong. So as long as you're holding on to that thought and that energy of wrong, somebody did you wrong, that's an energy of blame. And you can't forgive and blame at the same time. You can't hold two energies in the same space at the same time. So traditional forgiveness doesn't work. It generally does not work. It takes a long time. It takes therapy. When I start to talk about radical forgiveness, the first question I ask, has anything ever happened to you in the past that you thought was bad at the time, but you look back on it and you say, well, that's probably the best thing that could ever happen. That has happened to many people. It happens all the time because that's the way the universe works. Everything happens for our spiritual growth, whether we know it or not. Everything happens for our spiritual growth. So with that concept in mind, if everything is happening for our spiritual growth, then really nothing bad is happening. And there's really nothing to forgive. Now, we're not going to jump to that space right away, right after somebody called you out your name. However, the truth is that happened for a reason. So we believe that everything happens for our spiritual growth. Nothing bad ever happens. And therefore, there's really nothing to forgive. The other thing we believe is if you spot it, you got it. That means that whatever you can't see in somebody else what is not in you, ever. So the things that you are upset with other people about are things that you're really not happy about for yourself. Now, so we say here it's a mirror, and if I'm looking in the mirror and I see lipstick coming down my face, I don't go to the mirror to fix it. I go to my face. So it's the same thing with forgiveness issues. If somebody is being abusive to you, you don't go and, blast them because they're just showing you what you feel on the inside you deserve. There's some reason you think you deserve to be abused, or you have been an abuser yourself. And therefore you're attracting that energy. That energy is still coming back to you. So what radical forgiveness does is it uses tools to shift that energy. That energy that we're carrying with us that is attracting these negative experiences can be shifted and eliminated so that you don't attract those things anymore. So some of the tools are free and easy to get. Some cost a little bit, but they're easy to do and they always work. In my experience, they always work. So for example, one of the tools is a worksheet. It's a 2-page worksheet. You can go to my website, kymkennedy.com, KYMKennedy.com, and download it for free. And it's a 2-page thing. You fill it out, and at the beginning, you're going to be in your stage of upset, but I guarantee you by the end of the worksheet, you are in a place of peace. There's an energy that has passed over you that, or out of you, that you didn't even know was really there. All of the tools of radical forgiveness use 5 stages. The first stage is to tell the story. We have to get comfortable with expressing ourselves, clearing that throat chakra, saying what happened, admitting our hurt, admitting it, acknowledging it. It's extremely important to go through that phase of telling the story of what happened to you. The second phase is to feel the feelings. You can't heal what you can't feel. You've got to express those feelings. You've got to cry, you've got to emote, you've got to scream, holler, beat the couch with a pillow. Do whatever it takes to get that energy up and out of your body. Because whatever you don't express, whatever feelings you don't express, you repress. And that means you sit on them and you sit on them. And that will eventually become dis-ease. It turns into heart dis-ease and cancer and diabetes. That energy is going to get out one way, shape, or form. And if it gets out in the form of a disease, that's because you didn't take advantage of the opportunities there are to heal those negative energies in our body. The third stage of radical forgiveness is to collapse the story. There's the facts of the story, and then there's the interpretation of the facts. The fact could be something simple. My daddy left. I interpret it as my daddy left because I'm a bad person. He didn't love me. He wanted to get away from me, which probably has nothing to do with why daddy left. But because, especially if I'm a child, I'm going to internalize that. And once I get that belief system going, then no man is going to love me, and I'm always going to be left. And you create those experiences. So what radical forgiveness tools do is break apart what really happened and how am I interpreting it. The pain resides in the interpretation. The fourth stage of radical forgiveness is to reframe the story from the spiritual big picture. What could God have been trying to help me learn here? Why did I attract this person? What is the lesson in this situation? A lot of times it has to do with self-love. I know nobody taught me how to love myself. I'm teaching my granddaughter though. But my mother never said, now Kym, the most important thing you can ever do for yourself is to love yourself. Nobody ever told me that. And so therefore I don't. If you don't love yourself, then you're going to attract other people who don't love you either, because that's the mirror at work. So the most important thing we have to learn is to love ourselves. And then the fifth stage of radical forgiveness is called integrating the shift. And that just means to do something physical. After you've done that worksheet, it takes about an hour to do a worksheet. Then get up and take a walk or do some breathing exercises. Do something to integrate the new thinking and belief system into the cells of your body so they don't come back. That's pretty much radical forgiveness in a nutshell.
Well, thank you for that explanation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to a point that you made, that we attract into our lives those lessons that we need to learn or to address within our own selves. And I'm sure there are people that may not quite understand that because they feel things are always happening to them and not for any other reason. So can you address that a little bit more, that attraction?
Yeah, well, I think quantum physicists have been revealing of late that everything is energy. Everything is energy. And so the energy that we are is the energy that we attract. I am not a quantum physicist, so I can't explain it any better, except that I do know that there are all kinds of things in this world that are going on that we just don't know. I mean, how are we going to know? We don't know. I don't know how I got this finger on my hand. I don't know how I got the hand. So there's some things you just have to accept are God's mysteries. But once you can discover and see those patterns working, it's amazing. It's delightful. It's because really what you end up with, instead of hating the other person, you thank them for showing you what you need to learn. Showing you what you need to shift within yourself. So again, if I see abuse on the outside, then I know that for some reason I think I deserve abuse. Well, what's that all about? And you don't even really have to. You don't have to discover the root cause. Although I can tell you, most of the time the root cause is in childhood. Childhood, we take on wounds. Wounds are inflicted upon us as children. We don't know what to do with them, so we hold on to them and bring them forward into adult life. And the patterns repeat, and they repeat, and they repeat. And we keep attracting the same scenario because we're trying to heal it. We're trying to heal it. I can tell you a situation with my daughter. Most of my stories involve my daughter. But my daughter, let me explain. At 24, I was married with a house, a car, a degree, and a job. At 24, my daughter was in my house. She had none of the above and wasn't trying to get anything. So I'm furious. So every good coach has a coach. So I called my coach and my radical forgiveness coach, and she said, "What's the word you think of when you think of her?" And I said, "I think she's a burden." Well, truthfully, I didn't really think she was a burden, but that's what bubbled up. So we were also trying to figure out why I wasn't using my voice at that time. I had all this training and I wasn't doing workshops, I wasn't coaching anybody, I wasn't teaching anything. So I got to thinking, and I realized that when I was in junior high school, I was president of student government. I had given the graduation speech. I was in the drama club, in the public speaking club. I was really using my voice. And then my parents separated. And my mother went into stone cold victim mode. Woe is me, woe is me. And I didn't want to be a burden to her. So I stopped everything cold. I didn't do anything extracurricular in high school or college. I didn't join any groups. I didn't do anything except work and go to school, and work and go to school. So fast forward 20-some years, my daughter is still mirroring the image of burden that I thought I was to my mother. So I did my radical forgiveness work on my daughter and my mother and my father and myself. And within a week, my daughter said, "I'm going to go move out. I'm going to go live over here." And I was like, bye. Then there were other burdens that I wasn't even aware of that were in my life that started moving out. I had a woman who worked for me who I couldn't trust. I couldn't trust her with her expense report. I couldn't trust her to be where she said she was going to be. Couldn't trust her to be on time anywhere. She was really a burden. I had to watch her like a hawk. She moved to Kansas City. I had a woman who lived on my street, lovely lady, had a stroke, couldn't drive for over a year. I was driving her to church. And that was a burden. She moved off my street. And then I had 3 credit cards. Didn't know when I was going to get the money to pay those credit cards off. They're just swirling around in my head, over my head, really weighing heavily. Interest rates go up the minute you don't make a payment. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, unexpected income paid all 3 of those credit cards off. So when you see the mirror, when you shift the energy in you, the mirror has to change. It is spiritual law. So it is so worth it to do this work. It is just so worth it to take the time and shift that energy so that your energy can change. I've done it for my bosses. I've done it for students. I've done it with certainly family members. And I've gotten so, I believe in this so deeply that I've made a commitment that I will never have another argument. Because it's never about them. there's nothing to argue about. It's always something in me that's up for healing. So if I find myself irritated or upset or pissed off with somebody else, I will go into my closed closet, like Jesus. I will go into my space, do a worksheet, use the CD, whichever process I choose. I will shift that energy to the best of my ability, and I will see the mirror change instantly.
That's so beautiful, because we're, like I said earlier, we're not trained to do that. And you made a point that you're helping your granddaughter because you understand that most of these traumatic events happen in childhood. So, in speaking to this worldwide audience, what advice or suggestion would you make to the people that's partaking of this knowledge, where they can truly impact the lives of the people in their family?
Well, first of all, understand that I believe we all agree to a certain amount of pain in each lifetime. We agree to come to the planet to experience some things. Because if you believe that we don't really die, this, to me, a life experience is like doing a play. You know, you have certain characters that you choose. You know, we choose our parents, we choose our children. You know, they say we travel in soul groups. And as such, I might have been the child last time, my daughter might have been the mommy last time. So I say all of that to say, don't expect perfection in anybody's life. As much as I adore my granddaughter, I can't stop her from being wounded. I know that there are wounds taking place on the playground, at her daddy's, heck, our house. I mean, we don't mean it, but what she takes in as an insult, or even feeling abandoned when we want to watch TV instead of play with her, all of those things are, taking root, and it's nothing we can do. That's just what life is like. So don't beat yourself up. I told my daughter, you'll have to go get a counselor just like I did. We all have to. We all have emotional and wounds. But what I would say is definitely, I do everything I can not to stop her from crying, because getting energy, that negative energy out, is the best thing you can do. So instead of saying, I'll give you something to cry for, go to your room, I don't want to hear that. That's teaching them to stuff it. So any way I can try and teach her that it's okay that she feels, and to go ahead and feel those feelings, let that out, that's fine. That's one thing I would say to do. And then to love themselves. I am teaching her the song, I love myself just the way I am, that I don't know, I got it through the Louise Hay work that I've done. So I'm constantly supporting her and loving herself. And then in general, to teach that, like I just told her yesterday, she was complaining about some little girl on the playground, and I said, do you know that mean people are usually have been treated mean? That's where they learn how to be mean. I said, so you don't want to give her more mean, She was mean to you probably because somebody was mean to her. Try not to join in that, cycle. Just try to love her anyway. It's a whole nother world. It's just a whole nother world. Life is good. First of all, let me give credit to the author of Radical Forgiveness and the creator of the concept, Colin Tipping, who lives in Marietta, and when he's not in London, where he's from, is a wonderful man. I've been fortunate. I know God sent me to Atlanta to be able to work directly with him. I've worked with him on several occasions, and I'm very grateful for all that he has created and shared with me. But I can be contacted at Kym@KymKennedy.com. KYM@KYMKennedy.com. And my website is www.KymKennedy.com. please feel free to email me any old time. I'd be happy to help.
And thank you for sharing so powerfully with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.